Mark, how are you, man?
Doing good, John. How about yourself?
I am good. I am good as we get closer and closer to the big Thanksgiving Day feast. So much excitement around that.
Yes,
Um,
we are coming
so
up.
as we're kind of moving through November here, really enjoying doing these videos. We're watching the market change before us, and as it does, more of the buyers are looking for some help, right? With how how they're able to fund the loan. They're looking for loans now with 100% financing, because the house is more expensive, so they need more of that cash potentially for closing costs and
Right.
other things. And there's a little gem out there that you and I have been lately discussing and talking about, and that's the USDA loan,
Yes.
which gives that 100% financing. And I think it's a good topic to talk about, as we talked about ARM loans, a week ago, and their resurgence to help kind of stave off, interest rates and give a little bit of relief there. But USDA loans give that relief for 100% financing. So, Mark, tell us a little bit more about what a USDA loan is, and a little bit more about that information about it, so that our viewers have an idea of how it's used and what it's used for.
Right. Okay. So here's a little fun fact about USDA. If you go to the grocery store and you see the USDA stamp on a side of beef, it is the exact same branch of the government that controls beef quality and other poultry and that sort of thing.
I didn't
But
know that.
also, yeah, it also has a division that promotes rural development. We call it RD, right? So USDA has like a tree. It's got a branch. One branch does beef certification, and then another branch does residential real estate financing. So the mandate of the USDA is to control quality for food products, but it also has this arm that helps home buyers to buy homes, and
Mhm.
it's essentially a government backed or guaranteed loan, and it has 100% financing. So in the world of financing, mortgage financing, um, and I can't think of any others, but VA loans are 100% and USDA loans are 100% financing. So, and I can't think of any others that are off the top of my head. So it is the one type of loan that gets you, if you're not a veteran, gets you 100% financing, literally $0 out of your pocket. But there's a requirement, um, and that is, and we'll look at the map in a minute. I'll give an example of a map. The USDA does require you or a buyer to buy that home in a USDA eligible area. In other
Mhm.
words, remember the entire thrust of this branch of the government, the USDA mortgage side, is to promote rural growth. So they're saying, hey, get out of the city, get into a rural area, and we will make that transition as pain-free as possible with 100% financing loan. So there are maps that we look at. They're eligibility maps. We'll share that in a minute. That you can plug in an address and see if that address is eligible. Or you can simply look at the map for an area and it will tell you where you should be looking for eligible
Right.
areas. The other thing that's noteworthy about USDA, and I think it is um, a an amazing thing. There are a few other loans you can get up to 6% seller paid closing costs or seller contributions. That's with an FHA loan, 4% for a VA, but USDA will give you up to 6%. So you and I were working on a project recently. The person was buying something for about 350, and she was going to get about $19,000, if my memory serves
Yeah.
correct. And
20,000. in
Right.
closing costs, and the USDA was going to fund 100%. So
Right.
basically, zero money out of her pocket to go sign her name to getting a new home.
That's it. It is probably one of the other than VA loans, it is probably one of the most phenomenal products out there that is underused, understood, not talked about very much as a viable option for people, um, that we are talking about. It is a great product that people should really consider as a viable option. If you like, sort of, I don't want to say you have to be out in the country, but you won't be in a city because
Yeah.
the maps just aren't, in cities. They are to promote rural area growth. So 6%, on $350,000, that was 20,000 bucks. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah. Person pays for the appraisal, so you got to pay for an appraisal up front. So that is cash out of your pocket. So
Yeah.
650, 700 bucks, something like that, depending on the appraisal value cost. But when you go to closing, you get that money back because that seller paid covers it. So you get a refund in the cost of your appraisal.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to share this little USDA map. If I can get my screen sharing correct here, John, we're going to select that one. We're going to say share that one. Let me pull this around so I'm looking at the camera instead of to my right. Okay, do you see that okay?
No, it disappeared.
Disappeared. How about does it reappear if I swing it back over?
Yeah, that's right here. Yep.
All right, well, we'll just leave it there. So in this particular case, that was the home we were looking at, 37 South White Pine Trail. And you can see in green here, this address is located in an eligible area. And you can, you can see on the map as I zoom out, you're up here in York, where my mouse is. You see how that's sort of a brownish color, a brownish tint on the map?
Yes.
That is not an eligible area. Everything outside of that that's in the whiter color is a USDA eligible area for financing.
That is huge. If you take a look, guys, as you're looking at this map, and even down into Maryland, pretty much everything outside the city and outside of Hanover, Westminster, and above Baltimore is all USDA approved. That's pretty wild.
It's a huge area, and like I said, the entire thrust of the program is to get people into more rural areas, to take out congestion for cities and towns. So that's the concept there anyway, at least as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
But those are huge swaths of land and homes that can qualify for the USDA loans. Let's see what else. I'm going to turn off the screen sharing. If anybody has any questions about how to access this and how to find your eligibility, take note of the URL address at the top, eligibility.sc.egov.usda, or reach out to John and I. We can help you with that.
Yep.
You simply just pull up this map, plug in an address, hit the go button, and it will tell you if that address qualifies or not. Or you can just zoom out and see, well, I'm looking in Red Lion. Well, all of Red Lion south of York or Loganville, Springfield, all of those areas qualify. So
yes.
Very helpful map.
That's excellent. Good.
Anything else before I close this screen that you want to look at, John?
No, this is good information.
Okay. A couple good other noteworthy things. If you see at the top of the page here, income eligibility, income limits. There are income limits. In other words, they're making this program available, but you can't be a multimillionaire and take advantage of a program that's designed for pardon me. I don't want to say lower income folks, but say middle income, lower and middle. It's really designed to help those people who are seeking to buy a home.
Yeah.
It's not seeking to help, you know, millionaires who don't need the help. That's
Right. It's given the help where it's needed versus just a blanket program where, there could be abuse of it.
right, right. So for our viewers, if you have more questions, you can always give a holler and we can go over it in detail. But anything else on there that's you're curious about before
No,
we close
I'm
up?
good. That's
Okay.
really good. This gives us a good basic understanding of it completely, and I think that's you know that's going to be important. And I also think that our viewers, this is another option, right? As we get into a new market, and a competitive market, meaning that interest rates are going to be balanced out a little bit more. Money's not going to be free, so to speak. We're going to need to look at different programs for just different situations, right? And
Right.
USDA is in the tool pack for those that need 100% financing, and coupled with seller help, you could literally walk to the table. It's not guaranteed, but you could walk to the table with very little money out of your pocket, inclusive of closing costs. There are requirements behind the USDA that you need to meet, and whether it's the location of the home or income requirements, things like that. But
Right.
for the majority of the people, the USDA loan is an option, and I've used it with several of my clients. They're the stack, right? Getting into a home with very little out of their pocket, and
Right.
getting a home of their dreams. It helps kind of get things rolling for people on that front. So
Right.
great
A couple
option.
other notes that I had here on my other screen about appraisals. So you and I have also had this discussion before. It appraises like an FHA loan.
Hmm.
So if you're looking at a USDA loan, the buyer needs to be aware, as well as the seller should be, and the seller's agent should be aware of the qualifications that are needed.
Yeah.
One thing that comes to mind is adequate handrails. So an appraiser will come in and look at to make sure that all the safety um, measures are in place for that home. Adequate handrails, of the proper height, no mold. It's a USDA guaranteed loan. So the USDA is going to back this loan. They also want to know that the home is in good shape. I mean, we're not talking about excellent. I'm not talking, Taj Mahal. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it can't have mold. It can't have missing handrails for, somebody to fall off a deck and then they turn around and got a lawsuit with USDA. It's just
Yeah.
protective.
Critical things. They're
Right,
critical. Yeah.
right, right. Minimum 640 credit score, which that's reasonable. I mean, the scoring systems, I think that's a reasonable expectation for 100% financing. Um, Seller concessions up to 6%. We talked about that. So those are just a few highlights of that particular loan. It's a great option.
It is. It is.
Great option.
So, for our viewers, if you're thinking about and you're sitting on the sidelines, and as Mark highlighted earlier on another video, rates took a hit last week. They dropped down almost a full percentage point. That, coupled with some of the programs that we're talking about, makes getting a home a lot more appealing now. Especially when you talk about a USDA's prize benefit, which is potentially no money out of your pocket going to a closing, as long as you meet some of those requirements.
Right,
So
right.
just a great time to jump back in. A lot of buyers are sitting out right now, which is still a benefit for the viewers, because that means less competition in getting a home. And there's homes coming onto the market, and with less competition, that means there's not bidding wars and things like that, and that sellers are more willing to cede help to a person, and that's all good news. So
Yeah.
really good topic to discuss this week around the USDA, and I'm sure as we kind of move along, we'll be talking about other programs that are offered in the mortgage world. you know, such as one that you and I talked about, and that's something we should probably put on our list is PFHA, which was a
Yes.
good one. We'll talk about that
Yes.
later.
Yep.
But for today, the word is USDA. So inquire with Mark or myself if you're thinking about jumping in to purchase a home. USDA might be the right choice for you. Mark, thanks again for your time and the insight on this product. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Good seeing
You
you.
too. All right. See you
Take
later.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye.